to be discussing how to scout your place in the psychedelic frontier. And we're all together for such a time as this, and it is truly an exciting time. So how do you find your place in psychedelic medicine if you're new to the field? 3 years ago, I was coming up on 17 years of being a clinician. I'm a physician associate. I have practiced primary care, urgent care, and I decided to go to the ketamine conference. Has anyone here ever felt like you had your finger on the pulse or a really good grasp of, let's say, your industry or life situation or your career, and then you get flooded with new discoveries and new information, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, I missed the boat, and I feel behind. That's how I felt when I went to that ketamine conference 3 years ago. I had been practicing allopathic Western medicine for 17 years for my patients, and all of a sudden I was watching these presentations from these renowned professors and scientists and doctors talking about ketamine therapy, but I was also hearing LSD and psilocybin and MDMA. And I have appreciated psychedelics for most of my life, and all of a sudden I got really excited, and then I kind of panicked because I felt like I had missed the boat, and I had FOMO, like how had I been practicing all this time and just not realizing that all of this research was going on? And so the thing I asked myself is, like day 2 of the conference, I'm asking everybody, how do I get certified? How do I get trained? I need to be in this field immediately. And I was ready to rush into a role. And there wasn't a lot of direction. Nobody really had good advice for me about training programs. It was kind of just like a lot of lighthouses scattered in the dark. So I started doing a deep dive into this psychedelic renaissance because it wasn't going to arrive, it was clearly already here. And again, excitement, panic, FOMO. I realized all the research papers that were being published, all the ketamine clinics that were popping up all over America. This had been going on for years. And even my elderly parents called me up. They were like, hey, did you see that 60 Minutes episode about veterans and PTSD and those magic mushrooms? That psilocybin really seems healing. And I thought to myself, well, okay, these conversations are happening in living rooms all across America, so it's time to pay attention. And when we talk about this new emerging field, we have to truly have reverence for those who came before us. These plant medicines, fungi, have been used by tribes and cultures for thousands of years, and so we must respect that as we have reverence for the ancient medicines as we move into the age of science. And as I was researching the training programs, because after the conference I would go to my hotel and I would get on my computer and see what was out there, and then that continued for many years afterward. There were so many different pathways that you could take. Do you want to be a trip sitter or facilitate journeys? Do you want to be a prescriber for ketamine? And there were so many different courses and ways to study. Did you want to go abroad and have an immersive experience and take the medicine that you were studying? Did you just need a short introductory course over a weekend about all the substances and psychedelics? There were so many options that it was quite overwhelming, even for someone like me who had been in medicine for 17 years, and I kind of know how to navigate this industry, but there were just so many scattered training programs, no one really to turn to, and now 3 years later, there are so many more, and many more being opened every day. And all of them have different philosophies, different price points, and different promises. So I started asking myself, am I qualified enough to enter this field? Am I scientific want you to know that you are enough. We need you. Like, we need your perspective, your unique lived experiences. So wherever you're at right now, whatever you can contribute, you are needed in this field. We need everyone's perspective. This field is often referred to, very often referred to, as an ecosystem. So much so that I was kind of getting annoyed about it. Just, psychedelics and ecosystem. And so I looked up the definition. And an ecosystem is defined as living organisms interacting with their environment and each other. So I stand corrected. I think it's an excellent definition of this field. And now you have to ask yourselves, how do you want to interact in this ecosystem? How do you want to interact with your clients, your colleagues, your community? And like Shannon said in her lecture before me, we have to be bold. We need participants that are willing to ask those tough questions and to really push those boundaries. We're studying consciousness. There's so much we don't know. And I know that we have people right here in this room that are going to make those contributions. And there are so many roles for you. Did anyone, raise your hand if you saw Zappy's talk at 10 a.m. this morning. It was so good. He listed a really comprehensive career list, those bullet points of all the different roles that you could do even right now. I mean, do you want to write policy to decriminalize plant medicines in your community or nationally? Do you want to be a trip sitter? Do you want to be an educator, a podcast host, a social media content creator? There are so many roles in this field, and there is certainly a place for you. And you don't have to hold the medicine to matter. Again, there are many roles to fill. And so I host a podcast called Psych Med School, and my tagline at the end, I always say, stay curious. Because I think curiosity is just a really fun part of life, but then also really important, especially in a pioneering field like this. It's the curiosity that gives us the courage to ask those questions and to keep pushing forward. And as beautiful as curiosity is, responsibility matters too. These medicines bring up deep-seated trauma, and when a human is taking these medicines, they are sometimes in the most vulnerable position they've ever been in their lives. And so we have to respect that and hold that for them. And these medicines are powerful. They open doors that we weren't necessarily taught how to walk through as a society. And so you have to ask yourself, what level of responsibility are you willing to hold? Do you want to be there holding someone's trauma as they're screaming and crying in fear, or they're laughing in bliss and ecstasy? It takes a certain constitution and someone to sit there and hold that safe container for them. As a physician associate for 20 years now, I've held a lot of grief for people. Addiction, depression, family trauma, it's heavy stuff. And so you have to have a certain constitution for that. But if that's not your level, there are so many other roles for you, like I discussed before. Now, interpreting the functional MRI of the brain and how psychedelics affect the serotonin receptors in the lab is certainly different than facilitating someone's journey. And being a prescriber for ketamine is way different than hosting a podcast. So again, different levels of responsibility. Just know where you stand in your heart. So I would like you to humor me for a moment. We're going to do a little exercise. So if you're comfortable, I just want you to take your right pointer finger and close your eyes, and then everybody point in the direction north. Where do you think north is? Close your eyes and point. Okay, keep pointing, and now everyone open their eyes. So you can see that no wrong answers here, but like we all have different sense of direction, right? And we're all going to take different pathways to get there, but you have your North Star. You just have to orient to it first. Thank you for humoring me, by the way. Okay, so yes, orientation before commitment. Back at that ketamine conference, I was just ready to dive in. I just wanted to find the first training program that I could afford and spend time with and dive into and get accepted into. And it's a good thing I didn't, because speed is not sustainable. And you can ask yourself these 3 questions to help you orient. Number 1, what calls you to this field? Very simply, what is your why? Are you curious about consciousness? Do you have clients currently who you're working with and you want to add psychedelic medicine as an adjunct to their therapy? Do you yourself have some healing to do and personal experience with psychedelic medicine? The second question, again, how much responsibility do you want to hold? Trip sitting is different from social media curation. So the third question then is, how do you learn? Do you prefer 100% online courses where you can take this self-paced at home by yourself? Do you prefer classmates in a cohort to have that dialogue with? Do you want to go abroad and have that immersive experience and take the medicine as you study it? Now we can do that here in Colorado and Oregon as well. And so the third question is very important, of just understanding how you would like to learn first before you choose a training program. Because training without clarity can lead to chaos, but training with purpose can lead to transformation. So as I was mapping this landscape, of course, all the different courses that are out there, all the different compounds. What do you want to study? Do you want to study ketamine? Do you want to study 5-MeO-DMT, psilocybin, MDMA? There are so many new compounds also being created in the lab as we speak. So know also what your focus is. There's not a lack of options for training programs out there, but there's certainly a lack of orientation, and that's where I can help you. And so I was asking all of these questions, and they seem to be the same questions. And I thought, well, why don't I share this with the public? I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to ask the questions that I know everyone else is asking. And so on my show, my guests are directors of training programs, instructors. They come on the show. I give them 12 questions prior to coming on, and it's like, okay, how long is your program? What's your format? What's your pathway? What's your price? And that way the listeners can feel into it, right? You can feel how these instructors are answering the question. And does that spark a full body yes in you? Or maybe you want to listen to a few more episodes and do some more research to find a different training program. But I wanted people to be able to have that visceral response to the questions and the answers on the show. So resonate to educate. And so before you choose a program, again, how do you want to learn? How are you going to be sustainable in this to assimilate the information? There's lots of shiny ads and offers out there that want to try to reel you in before you self-reflect. In fact, this past winter, so I'm a travel PA, and I was out in San Francisco opening a Suboxone clinic, and one of my colleagues, very brilliant, they got their master's from Harvard and their PhD from Johns Hopkins. So very astute clinician, right? And we bonded. They were like, oh cool, you're into psychedelic medicine, me too, I want to get certified, and you know, how can you help me? And so they came into work the next day and they were like, look at this deal. This program is on sale from $8,000 to $3,000. And I looked at them and I said, yeah, that's a really legit organization, excellent education, but just let me ask you one question. how do you want to learn? Do you want to go home after work every night and read by yourself at a computer and then eventually take an exam and get a certificate? And they were like, no, I really need those breakout sessions and that cohort of classmates, and I want to have that intellectual dialogue. That's how I learn. And I want to have faculty to lean on if I have to. So they weren't looking for a deal. And they didn't get that course. They chose something else, which was much more fitting for them. And so, as I've been asking these similar questions over and over again, I started working several months ago on a digital project. And I'm releasing it today for the first time. I wanted to save it for my beautiful Psycon. Thank you. And so, this is my gift to you. There's the QR code that will take you to the Scout. It's a compass of sorts. It's the self-clarity orientation user training tool. And it is 12 questions, no free typing, just click, 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 and then it reflects your answers back to you. And so you can print it out, tape it on your fridge, walk past it every day and read it. Does it feel right in your bones? If not, take it again. It's free. Take it as many times as you want until you get that navigation that you need before you start scrolling and enrolling and investing in those training programs. And so that way you can get clear and you can reflect and move forward on your path. So I encourage you to always keep trailblazing and to definitely always stay curious. Any questions for me?
Which way is the north through?
Ask my husband, he's a walking compass.
Oh,
Even now.
there you go.
Oh, thank you.
You bet.
Good question. I wish I had a sense of direction, but I don't. When it comes to maps. Yes?
I have a question in regards to all the research that you did. What was, I guess, the final push that was like, okay, I'm ready to select this program and stop my searching?
Very good question. I was hoping somebody would ask me this. So instead of rushing into a role in a training program, turns out after 20 years of doing one-on-one patient care, I am choosing to do more of an educational aspect. I don't think I want to do one-on-one facilitation. I feel like if I can help other people find their training so that they can help patients, then I'm exponentially helping more patients, right? So maybe I'll take a training someday, just out of curiosity, but I don't see myself facilitating or trip sitting or any of that. Does that answer your question? Yeah, thank you. Any other questions?
What's your process for assessing programs and determining like kind of which ones are, I guess, reliable or trustworthy?
Yeah, that is a really good question. So first, orient yourself, and you can use the Scout to do that. And there are so many programs popping up every day that it is pretty hard to discern which ones are trustworthy. So I would say, have they been around? Definitely check the instructors. Have they published any papers? Are they working in their community? What are they contributing? Just kind of parse out every part about that training program. That's what I would say. And do you want to learn in class? Do you want to learn online? So you're going to have to maybe do a discovery call. A lot of these programs have a free discovery call where you can meet with someone online, or even try to go to the physical space and just see if it feels right to you. But it's hard, the more and more that are coming out, we do have to use discernment when choosing a program.
Are there certain accreditations or?
Excellent question. So, exciting news, there is an association called the Psychedelic Medicine Association, and Lynn Marie Morsky, she heads that up, and she just announced on LinkedIn that she's creating an accreditation board for different training programs. So that is super exciting, I know. So yeah, Psychedelic Medicine Association, I'll put a little plug in for them. And also, you know, it's important that you're here. It's important to put yourselves in proximity and to have these conversations. And social media has been huge for me too. Just following certain people, certain instructors, certain training programs, you kind of get in that network, and then you can kind of feel who's trustworthy and who has your own convictions and your own interests.